and welcome to Bake with Miss Hayner. Today I'm going to take you through step by step how to make some special pirate treasure cupcakes / buns. Now, if you haven't already, you need to get out all the ingredients and equipment we are going to need. So you need your baking tin, bun cases, you need a bowl, a mixer, you're going to need some weighing scales, and then you need all your ingredients. So your flour, butter, sugar, milk, and some eggs. When you've got them all out and ready, press play and we will continue. Right, now that we've got everything out ready, we need to prepare ourselves to bake. So to get ourselves ready, we need to do a few things. The first thing Miss Hayner has done, she has tied her hair up because she's got long hair, so to make sure it doesn't fall in the food, she's tied it up. The other thing she's done is I've put on an apron to protect my clothes from getting dirty. And there's one last thing we need to do before we actually start. Does anybody know? That's right, we need to wash our hands. So I'm going to wash mine now. I've got my soap, I've turned on my hot tap and I'm washing my hands. Now can anybody remember how long do we wash our hands for? That's right, it's 20 seconds. So we wash our hands for 20 seconds and we sing the song Happy Birthday. So let's sing it now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to everyone. It's actually Miss Hobson's birthday this week. Happy birthday to you. And there we go. Miss Hayner's rinsing her hands now, getting all that soap off. Then she's going to dry it on a clean hand towel. So there we go. If you haven't washed your hands in that time, you need to press pause and then press play when you are ready to continue. Right, are we ready? Perfect. Now the next thing we need to do is actually turn our oven on. We need to get it to the right temperature ready for our buns to go in. So I'm going to do that now. So my cooker is over here. So follow me over to the cooker. So I am now at my cooker and I need to get it to the right temperature. And that is 180 degrees. So I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Right, so now that I've turned my cooker on, the next thing I need to do is put my bun cases into my tin. So I just need to take one out and pop it into each of the sections. There's 12. So I've got a different colour for each row. I've got pink, green, red and blue. So press pause and you need to put your bun cases into your tin. Right. So my bun cases are all in my tin, ready to go. And I'm just going to pop that out the way because I don't need that for a while. So now that's done, we actually now need to start preparing our batter for our bun mixture. So we are going to need our scales. So go and collect your scales. Ready? And then we can begin. Right, now we've got our scales. I've got my mixing bowl ready and I'm placing it on top of my scales. Then we need to do something really important. We need to set the scales back to 0. This means that it will be the correct amount when we're weighing out our ingredients. Right, is your mixing bowl ready on your scales and it's all set to 0? It is. Perfect. Now the first ingredients we're going to weigh out is our butter. Now I'm using stork for my cakes. I always use stork when I bake. And we need 150 grams. So that means we're looking on our scales until it says 150. Okay, so can you now weigh out into your mixing bowl 150 grams of butter? can see by the picture, I have weighed out 150 grams worth of butter. It's already in my mixing bowl. The next thing we need to do is actually mix the butter to cream it, to make it soft, ready to mix with the sugar. So I'm going to put mine on my Kenwood and you can see what I mean. Then you can have a go. Right, so there we go. In my mixing bowl is my butter. It's on my Kenwood. I'm going to pop it down. And then I'm just going to turn it to 2 and let it whisk away. And there we go. Perfect. You don't need to do it too much, just so that it goes a little bit lighter in colour and that it is soft to mix with the sugar. Now that that's done, I have taken my mixing bowl and placed it back on my scales. I've made sure I've pressed the button so it says 0 again. Because now we need to weigh out our sugar. We need 150 grams worth of sugar. 150. Okay, so I'm going to collect my sugar. I keep it in a blue container box and I'm going to spoon out 150 grams. Here we go. Are you ready? Oh, 34, 82, 120. This is where it gets difficult. You've got to estimate. Oh, 132. Oh, 38. Oh, I've got to 149. So I've just got to add a tiny, tiny bit. That's it. I've got it to 150 grams. So I've now put 150 grams worth of sugar into my bowl. I'm going to pop that back on my mixer and whisk it all up together. I'll show you. So as you can see, my butter and my sugar are in all together, and I'm going to whisk that all together till it makes a nice, fluffy, creamy consistency. There we go, that should do it. So if you would like to combine your butter and your sugar, press pause and whisk it all up together. Right, are you ready to move on? Is your butter and sugar all ready and mixed well? Perfect. So now what we need to do is actually one of the tricky parts. We need to crack our eggs. Now I'm going to crack it into a separate jug, because then that means if there's any shell that drops in, we can easily get it out. So if you want to collect a jug or a bowl or anything like that, and let's crack our 3 eggs into there. Are you ready? Oh, it's tricky, isn't it? There goes the first one. Looking okay so far. Don't think there's any shell in it. Next egg. Oh, still doing okay. And my last egg. Now, Miss Halfpenny, if she was really clever, she could try and do this one-handed, but I've never mastered that technique. Right, so I've got all 3 eggs ready together to go in my mix. I've done pretty okay. I've got no shell in there. So if you haven't managed to do that, press pause and get your eggs cracked into a jug. Right, so now that our eggs are cracked and into a jug, we now need to move on, and I like next to measure out my flour. So I've got my weighing scales and a separate glass bowl ready to put my flour into. I've also made sure it's on that magic number of 0 before I start. So do you want to get your weighing scales back out and a bowl ready to put our flour in? Press pause and do that now. Right, so we are measuring out 150 grams worth of flour. Now, you can use normal self-raising flour or you can use gluten-free flour for this. It works both ways. I'm using gluten-free flour because I'm gluten-free, but that's just out of choice. So we are going to pour in 150 grams worth into my glass bowl to measure out. So here we go. There's 1 spoon. Oh, that's 50, so I just need 100 more. Oh, another spoon. 77, so I need a bit more. Another spoon. 112. Another spoon. 146, so I only need a little bit more. So I've got a little bit on my spoon. 148, a little bit more. Perfect. I've got to 150 grams of flour in my bowl. I'll show you what it looks like. Right, so now I've got my butter and my sugar mixture in my mixing bowl. I have a jug of eggs and I have got my flour ready. Now, we are going to slowly add the egg and the flour mixture at the same time. I'll show you what I mean. Right, so as you can see, there's my butter and my sugar, my flour and my eggs. So I'm going to turn my mixer on and I'm slowly going to add some of the egg mixture, pouring it in. And then I'm going to spoon half of my flour mixture in. Do you want to press pause and have a go at mixing half of the egg mixture, half the flour mixture in with your butter and sugar? Mine's starting to look really good, so I'm going to add the rest of my egg and the rest of my flour mixture. Oh, it's quite hard to do this one-handed. I'm trying my hardest. Oh, there you go. It's in. Right, and I'm going to crank it up so it mixes really, really well. Have a go at mixing all your ingredients that are left together in the bowl. So my ingredients is well combined and ready in my mixing bowl. So that is it. We have made our batter for our buns. So what we need to do next is actually spoon it now into our bun cases. So you're going to need a big spoon, a tablespoon, a little spoon, a teaspoon, and your bun cases in the tray. Okay, press pause and go and collect them ready. Right, so I've got my spoons, I've got my mixture, I've got my cases ready. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop up, using my big spoon, some of the mixture onto it. Then use my little spoon to push it off into the cases. I'm going to show you how I do that. So as you can see, I'm just getting a little bit of the mixture on the spoon and I'm just spooning it carefully into the cases. Do you want to press pause and have a go at doing this yourself? Make sure all of them are filled and you've used up all of the mixture. Right, so my bun cases are all well filled, so now it's time to pop them in the oven. Right, here we are. So here's my bun cases. Oven's at the right temperature. Open it up and they're going on the bottom shelf. And I'm going to pop them in there for about 12 minutes and then I will check on them after that. So your bun should now be in the oven and we need to now wait 12 minutes. So set a timer for 12 minutes, check them after 12, but I think they're probably going to need around 15. Okay, so I'm going to set my timer. Alexa, can I have a timer for 12 minutes, please?
12 minutes, starting now.
Sorted. Right, as you can hear, my Alexa is going off, so my timer is ready. So I'm going to check my buns to see what they look like. So, opening up. Ooh. Mine don't look quite ready, but I am going to spin them round so that I get a nice even bake. But I'm going to pop them back in for another 3 minutes. My timer has gone off again, so I'm just going to check that these look right. So how I'm going to check is, sorry about the steam, I'm going to touch them in and if they spring back up, they are ready. So they look good to me. So I'm going to take my buns out the oven and just place them on the top. Shut my door and turn off the oven. Those look pretty good to me. To help my buns cool, I'm just going to take them out and pop them on a wire drying rack. Our buns need to be fully cool before we start decorating them. This may take roughly half an hour to 45 minutes. Right, so while we're waiting for our buns to cool, unfortunately, this is the job that nobody likes to do, but we can wash up. So why don't you wash up all the pots and pans that you've used so far while we're waiting for our cakes to dry. After we've done that, we can start again by making our icing. Have fun! Right, now that I'm all washed up, my buns are cooling, so I'm now going to make my icing, my hot water, glacier icing, whatever you want to call it. So you need some icing sugar, and we need the scales and a glass bowl again. So go and collect those now. Brilliant. I've also boiled my kettle. So you need to get your grown-ups to do this. They need to fill the kettle and boil it and then allow the water to cool slightly. But you need to get your grown-up to do that part. Okay. So what we need to do now is weigh out 125 grams of icing sugar. So I've got my scales, it's on 0 ready, and I'm just going to carefully spoon in the icing sugar. Okay, so I'm going to take it a step at a time and spoon in 125 grams. Now icing sugar does get everywhere, so go careful. I can taste it in the air. See if you can taste the icing sugar in the air. Sometimes it lands. Oh, I've got to 120. Oh, yeah. Oh, 126, but it'll be okay. So I've got my icing sugar ready. Doesn't appear to be any lumps, so I think I'm okay. But if you have any lumps in your icing sugar, you need to sieve it first. Right, so is your icing sugar in the bowl? Perfect. So now we need 15 millilitres of warm water. Now, like I said earlier, I've boiled my kettle ready and I've let the water cool, so it's slightly warm. But you children need to get your grown-ups to do this part. You need to pour 15 millilitres of warm water into the icing sugar. Now, I've got my handy spoon measure. 15 millilitres is roughly 1 tablespoon. So if you don't have a jug or anything like that, it's 1 tablespoon. So I've got my kettle thing and I'm going to pour 15 millilitres of warm water into the icing. As soon as that goes in, you quickly need to mix. Now, let me take this lobster spoon. There we go. So once it's in, quickly mix it up to start it to form a paste. As you can see, I am mixing mine up round and round, and it's starting to form in the middle. Keep going, keep mixing, and it should come to a runny consistency. Now, Miss Haytner's is looking like this. Hers isn't runny enough, so she's going to add a little bit more water. If you need to add a little bit more water, that's okay. Miss Haytner added a little bit more water, and hers is now come to quite a runny, smooth consistency. Enough to coat the back of a spoon. So mine's about perfect. At this stage, I am actually going to add some blue food colouring because I want my icing to resemble the sea. So I'm going to add some food colouring. So I've got my food colouring here, and I have this lovely blue flavour. Now, to do my food colouring, you might just have drops or the gel, but I've got this one, so what I have to do is take the top off. I have to dip a little bit in on my cocktail stick and then swirl it around in my mixture. I'll show you. So here we go. Here's mine on my there, and I just dip it in, and as you can see, it is starting already to change colour. So let's see if I've got enough. Yeah, it looks like I have. Brilliant. I'm going to make sure that is all well mixed
to resemble.
My icing is ready, it's blue, it's lovely. So we're just going to pop that to one side because there's the next part we need to prepare to decorate our biscuits. Right, so my icing is all blue, it's all runny, it's all good to go. So there's one more thing we need to prepare before we decorate our buns, and that is our biscuit element. So I've just got some biscuits here. I'm going to place 2 into a bowl, and then I am going to use a rolling pin just to smash up all my biscuits into nice little crumbs. Have fun doing that part. Press play when you're ready and your biscuits are all crumbled. Right. My biscuits are all now crumbled, and I'm going to use this to represent sand. So now I am ready to decorate my buns because I've got my icing, just the sea, and my biscuits all crumbled for the sand. So I'm going to clear my workstation and get ready to decorate my buns. Right, now it's time to decorate my buns. So I'm going to take a bun, get my blue icing. I am just going to pour it on, like so, and then spread it around the top of the bun so it covers all of it. This looks like it's going to be a good one. Right, so now when I've covered it, I'm just going to pick up the sand mixture, the biscuit, and sprinkle it on top. There we go, so it looks like sand. And then I have got some sweets. So I've got some Malteser chocolate buttons, and I've got some Haribo tube sweets that I've cut up to resemble some buried treasure on the sand. And there we go. There is my pirate ship bun. There we go. Right, so there we go. I have decorated 2 of my buns so far. I'm going to keep going, so I've got lots of icing and biscuit melt, and I've got 10 left to go. Have fun decorating your buns. So press pause and decorate your buns. Thank you so much for joining me today with Bake with Miss Haytner. I hope you had so much fun doing it because I had lots of fun recording it, and I can't wait to see the end product. Now I know it is Mr. Atkinson's Home Learning Week this week, but I would really like to see what you have got up to and your end product. So please include me on your emails when you're sending in your photos. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!